right, everybody, welcome back to Celebrate the Wins. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much. And I have my friend Mike Garrison here with us. Mike, welcome to Celebrate the Wins.
I can't wait. I love winning.
You do love winning. Well, hey, we have a format, right? As you know, we do 5 questions in 18 minutes or less. So we are on a boogie, and you and I have a problem of turning a 15-minute conversation into an hour and a half. So we got to work really hard to get to the point, be concise, and move this thing forward. Sound good?
I'll be good. I'll be good.
We'll pound that one together. Question number one. Do you think sales are harder or easier today than they were 10 years ago?
Only an idiot would think it's harder. I wanted to be modern.
You don't have a strong opinion about that.
No, seriously. Sales is much easier than it used to be. And I can tell you, when I broke into sales, I was cold calling for copiers in Washington, D.C. And there was no way to find out information about your prospects except to go to the library and try and get the latest trade journal, which was 3 months old. Okay, because print, there was no digital. You had 1 week. I talked about this with Tim Hughes when I was interviewed last week.
Yeah.
You had 1 week to capitalize on that information before everyone else you compete with did. Sales is so much easier now. The problem is people have forgotten that it's sales, right? You can't get away from research, preparation, and effort. You know, now if you apply analog sales techniques with a digital mindset, bam, you are unstoppable.
Okay, so it's Celebrate the Wins. You're here. We want to celebrate with you. What is the win that you want to celebrate today?
I would say the win I most want to celebrate is the fact that my particular referral system that I've spent a year transforming digitally is now starting to just rock the house. I've gotten 3 referrals, actually 4 referrals in the last 5 days.
4 referrals in 5 days.
Whoop, whoop. Referral appointments.
Right.
And 2 of them signed up before I even met with them.
Take one of those in particular and tell us a little bit about it. And I'm kind of leading you. You had a really big, what you thought was a very big success that I'd love for you to talk about and tell us why do you consider that such a big success?
Well, the biggest success I had was this interview with Tim Hughes, the author of Social Selling. And the reason it was so impactful for me is because a year and a half ago, I thought I was out of business.
Right. And I want to just clarify, because you were interviewed by him for his podcast. You weren't interviewing for a job or anything. You got asked by Tim Hughes, the author of Social Selling, to be on his podcast.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Tim's the #1 authority, in my opinion, which is, quite frankly, all anyone needs to know. But he's the #1 authority on social selling worldwide. And the reason is he doesn't pull any punches. He comes from enterprise sales. He's old enough to understand what analog sales was. And so what Tim really does is help people digitally transform, companies and people to transform from analog to digital, because all those things that you did before Facebook work even better on Facebook, right?
Yep.
Because social selling is not just being social. You have to apply modalities, structure, systems, and accountability. It is a lot of fun, but that's why it was so big success for me, because a year and a half ago, I asked a friend of mine, I said, are referrals done? Right? My way of doing referrals face-to-face, is it done? He said, no, it's even better. Start reading. So I went and read that book. He hadn't even read the book, the guy that referred it to me, Victor Clark, a good friend of mine. Read the book, and in it, Tim says something profound. He says, social selling is applying traditional word-of-mouth networking techniques to digital. And I went, win! And out of that, I developed my system, which is not really my system. It's 3,000 years old. You might have heard of it. Cultivate, plant, reap.
So next question. In your process of doing and celebrating this win, right? In the process of getting there and turning this into a win, what did you do well?
What I did well, and this is going to sound kind of strange for people that have known me for a long time, I had empathy. 2 of the people that are working with me are over 50, and they have been intimidated and felt kind of archaic. And in the process of cultivating and planting, in a very short period of time, I was able to show them that everything they'd done in their life had perfectly prepared them to excel in a digital world. I think that's what people don't understand is there are no get rich quick schemes in sales. I mean, it's shocking, shocking. But, my system is cultivate, plant, reap, right? And it's a way of interacting with people at the top of the pipeline. Most people don't walk around saying, hey, I need a sales coach. So you have to be able to break status quo. I realized that going in, Brandon, and I knew that I needed to be patient, that I needed to be consistent with my messaging, and I needed to talk about things from their perspective. And then I had to be predictable, that it couldn't be random acts of charity, raindrops and gummy drops falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
And so what I did with these people is I connected with them. In most cases, in half the cases, I already knew them. I'd already picked them out and selected them for my network, and I just talked about and said, what's your vision for what you're trying to accomplish? Because coaches can't take anybody, you can't eat potential.
Got it. Yeah. That's good.
So they have to engage you because of a perception of something more they can do.
Right. They need to see the outcomes.
Yeah, because you can't coach somebody past their own limitations.
Right. There you go.
It's impossible. You can't make Usain Bolt faster genetically. All you can help him do is achieve more and more of his God-given potential.
Got it. Yep. So as a John Maxwell guy, as a member of John Maxwell team, I'd say it's the law of the lid.
Yeah.
In the 15 laws of growth, right? I mean, your lid, you're constantly going to hit that as a ceiling. So what you need to do is expand your lid. Right?
Yeah.
Move your lid for you to move. Is that similar to what you're saying?
It's similar. I like John. He's cool. Written a couple books. I would say that there's only one lid, and that's what you were created. That you can't get past what you were designed for. But unfortunately, we create artificial lids that aren't real.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I think most people live in a small fish tank of their own design.
Yep.
Inside a much larger tank designed by somebody far better.
Got it. So let's move into the next one then. We got the W of what you do well. And the second one is improve. So knowing what you've done, the success that you had, the win that we're celebrating today, where would you want to improve?
I need to be more consistent. One of the challenges, and I've reflected on this over many times we've talked, even though I talk about with my clients, you got to always continually prospect. You got to be really consistent.
Yep.
I still find myself doing that little sine wave where I get some business, get a lot of stimulation, and slip efforts down. The reason I'm doing so well now is because I realized I was dipping my prospecting levels. As a referral guy, that I was dipping my prospecting levels, and I was sliding more toward the surprise chicken little marketing concept as opposed to proactive cultivate, plant, reap. And so I would say what I need to do is be exactly what I say to my clients. Be consistent. Predictable referrals come from predictable behavior.
Got it. So the improved part is not getting distracted when success and wins start coming your way.
That sounds better. Let's do that.
To stop doing what got you there, the activities that got you there in the first place, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, I hate all these people that tell you referrals are easy. They're lying, they're thieving, and they're charlatans at best. All prospecting is difficult. You have to work. If you want to be a high performer, you don't get there by sitting on the couch eating bonbons and watching Jerry Springer.
Gosh, darn it.
I know.
My day's shot now.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. Planning on doing that and watching all the sales and signed contracts coming in.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's what people forget. Referrals aren't easy. They're a lot more fun. They can be more personally rewarding if you're into human-to-human contact, but they're not for everybody in every organization because they have their own risks, their own problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so one of the things you would improve upon is being more consistent.
I follow my system better.
What's that?
I'd follow my own system better.
Follow your own system better. Yep. Be more consistent with your own tactics. Yeah. Hey, you know what though? I mean, gosh, I would imagine that there's a lot of people listening to this guys just shaking their head right now going, I get it. And and it's that sense of, excuse me, that sense of feeling like a hypocrite sometimes, that we're either going to let it make us feel like a failure and a hypocrite and bring us down, or look at it and just go, man, I'm human like everyone else, and let's move forward. I know what to do. I got off course. Let me get back on the horse and go. Right.
Absolutely. And
So,
that's part of having a system. If you don't have a system, it's really hard to get back on track.
yeah, because you don't know where track is.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
you're measuring everything with emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
So anything else in the improve? Where anything else you'd want to improve upon?
Some plastic surgery, look better. You know, this whole video thing's challenging for me.
Ah,
I'm a
that's
face made for radio, right?
Love that expression.
It's so true. But I mean, seriously, it's just, you know, I'd say the other thing to improve on is to stop worrying about how I look to other people. You know, one of the problems with any kind of referral-based, human-based system is it's easy to get distracted or wounded by, do people like me? The Sally Field concept. You know, that's dating.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to flesh that out a little bit for the people who are going, what do you mean, Sally?
Google it.
You like me. You really like me. Hey, I'm there too. I remember that.
That's one of the most painful moments in television history.
Yes. Yep. Well, and it's, I mean, here's the thing, and I think you and I have talked about this before, is that one of the, I think, elements of social selling that gets overlooked and we don't talk about is, are you prepared to be a celebrity, if you will? Are you prepared to be a public figure? Because I don't care if you're just putting it on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, you start putting it out there. It takes guts because people are going to comment. And normally my experience is the first time you comment, first time you put something out there, the people that show up first are the critics.
They're the predators.
The what?
The predators.
The predators, yeah. And they knock you down, and you've got to be prepared to say, am I ready to be public and have thick skin and be okay and be consistent, even though some of the comments are going to kick me in the knees.
You know, one of the greatest ways I explained that to clients was when I was doing some customer service work before I got fired by one of my best friends.
You know, you throw a lot of little like zinger nuggets.
They're all true though.
We're gonna have to come back to that. We're gonna pull that one in someday and flush that one out.
But I had made a mistake of hitting reply all on an issue.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I got a great piece of advice. It was from Dr. Ivan Meisner, who's the founder, CEO of BNI. He said, Mike, you got to treat everybody like they're a reporter. I think that advice really captures what you were just saying, that when you put it out on social, when you're doing social selling, you have to be aware that you're talking to reporters, because everyone is a publisher now. That doesn't mean that you should be fake. That's even worse, right? You need to be authentic, but you need to be not cautious, but you need to speak in your own voice. Don't say things that you won't stand behind.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. In the name of time, we've got into you followed your system, improve. You want to be more consistent. What specifically, one or two things that you will do next time, as specific as you can get, to turn this win into the next win?
Well, I'm going to double down on my system. And I wrote an article called The Best Way to Ask Your Customers for Referrals. And I will humbly ask all of my customers, past and present,
got it,
over the last 20 years for referrals.
Very cool. That is very specific. Will you promise me this? When you implement that, and however long, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months down the road, will you come back and share with us that win so that we can celebrate that win with you, and show how you went from this went through what I call my win method. What'd you do well? Where do you want to improve? Specifically, what are you going to do next time? And then catapult one win to the next bigger win. And we'd love to hear all about it.
Love to.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, Mike, before we go, last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Your best sale ever.
Her name was Jocelyn Ruth Simmons, and she's my wife of 24 years. And I will say that it has a lot more to do with Jesus than it does with me. But when we first met, she was not even 21, and she's like, I don't want to get married till I'm 30, 32.
And the salesman came out.
That's right.
And there goes another one of those.
25, baby.
There goes another one of those conversations that we're going to have to flesh out another time.
No, I mean, I'd say the best sale I ever made was the most with a really good friend last week. You know, he manages about 30 different sales consultants, and he's having a hard time helping them grow effectively because he didn't have a digital system. And so I was able to, thanks to stuff I've learned in the Sales Enablement Society, thanks to Tim Hughes, thanks to guys like you, I was able to gently shepherd him into a different way of viewing things. He's so talented. All he really needed was a different lens.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you put glasses on one of those kids for the first time and they can see, or the cochlear implants. That's all we really need to do in sales is help your client be a better version of themselves.
That's awesome. Awesome. Mike, thank you so much for sharing your experience and especially sharing your win with us so that we could celebrate your win with you. So we celebrate you. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm looking forward 3 to 6 months. I want to hear about the next win.
Absolutely. Bruce Chris in Atlanta.
With Chris in Atlanta. Here we go. All right. Thanks, Mike. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Again, we really shoot to do 5 important questions to celebrate people's wins within 18 minutes or less. And if we win over 18, you won't know the difference because our editors are going to make us look like we were much more concise than we are. So thanks for coming. And hey, if you know somebody or you are somebody that'd like to join us on the show and celebrate your win or let us celebrate you and your win, comment down below, get in touch with us at goyipyip.com, and we would love to have you on and celebrate your win with you. Thanks again for coming, Mike. Have a great night.
Peace.